Hey travel friends, I don't know about you, but I've become a real fan of cruising lately. I just think it's a great way to travel and see the world. And the more that I cruise, the more tips and tricks I've been learning to help save time and money. So in today's video, I want to share some of these things with you in hopes that it will help you on your next cruise. My first tip is to fly in at least 2 days before your cruise is set to depart. The airports right now are a complete mess, okay? They're probably the worst that I've ever seen them. And I know this past trip that I had, we were stuck in Florida for 4 days because our connecting flight couldn't take off due to weather, according to the airline. They didn't give us a hotel comp, a food voucher, nada. We didn't get anything. And so this was all the costs that we had to incur for 4 extra days. Luckily, it was on the leg of us leaving the cruise, so we didn't really miss our cruise. But imagine if this was us having to fly into our cruise port for embarkation day, we would have missed the cruise. So the point is, get there a few days early. Even though that may cost you a little bit more, you can budget that into your travel expense. Now, if your cruise is leaving out of Europe or someplace international, I would recommend getting there at least 3 days before. I know it. What am I gonna do for 3 days? Well, you could do some sightseeing. You could just eat room service and sit in your hotel room, but at least you are there and ready to go when it's time to board. Some of these international destinations, they literally only have 1 flight per day. And so if you miss that 1 flight, you can't get another one until the following day. Cancellations are at an all-time high right now between weather and staff shortages, mechanical failure. There's so much going on right now at the airport that you don't want to risk it. Another thing you may want to consider purchasing is travel insurance, especially if you're prone to illness or if you have a lot of uncertainty in your life right now. At least you'll be able to get your money back because a lot of the cruise ship tickets are non-refundable, especially as you get closer and closer to your sailing date. So tip number 2 is to join the Facebook group for your sailing. I know some of you are rolling your eyes right now and thinking, no social media and no Facebook, but it's really worth it. Honestly, I was a little bit hesitant. I was like, why would I do that? But there's a wealth of information on these groups. There are so many fellow passengers who are willing to help you out, especially if you're a first-time cruiser and you're not really sure what you're doing. You can ask any question and within minutes, usually, you'll get someone answering your question and helping you out. There's also opportunities if you feel comfortable with this kind of thing for social meetups. I've seen on these groups where people say, hey, let's do a social mixer and meet at a certain bar on the ship, or they arrange play dates. You don't have to do it, but if you're into that kind of thing, if you're a bit of a social butterfly and you feel comfortable, then this is the place to do it. I know for Disney cruises, this is where the fish extender groups are formed. So fish extenders are pretty much it's like Secret Santa. You kind of get someone's name and room number, and then you drop off little gifts throughout the cruise. They call it spreading pixie dust. It's a lot of fun, and this is where they organize it. So if you want to get in on that, join the Facebook group for your specific sailing. So you literally will search in Facebook, say if you're sailing on Royal Caribbean, leaving September 3rd to September 10th, I don't know. Just put it in your date and your cruise group will pop up. I remember on one sailing that I was on, I heard a medic emergency announcement over the loudspeaker. It was like in the middle of the night. I was freaking out because I didn't know what they had said. So I went on the Facebook group and someone said, oh, a passenger had a medical emergency, like nothing's wrong with the ship. And actually we would be stopping in Nassau to let the person off. So I find the group to be a good resource for your trip. It has a lot of knowledgeable people in it. So by all means, if you need that little bit of help, or if you just want to stay connected, this is a great place to do so. Tip number 3 is to do a ship tour on embarkation day. I know that some of these mega ships are just confusing as all get out. You don't know if you're coming or going. And so this is what I like to do on my first day of being on a cruise ship, especially the mega ships. And if you have a short voyage, so if you're only on the ship for 2 or 3 nights, it's nice to just get your bearings and figure out where everything is located. It's going to save you a lot of time in the future, especially if, a day from now you have a reservation somewhere and you're rushing around, you don't know where the restaurant or the, entertainment is located. I'll look at the deck plan and the map of the ship and really just kind of figure out the placement of everything. Now, for some of you, this may not be that big of a deal. You're just like, I'll just figure it out as I go. And that's okay. It's your vacation. But for me, and for those who are type A and highly organized, ding, 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 I have to know where things are. It just helps me to relax a bit, be less anxious, and just feel like, oh, okay, I know where that is. Tip number 4 is all about that drink package. I see a lot of questions about this, and I'm not going to outright say, no, do not buy that drink package. No, 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 don't do it. I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is if you are not a heavy drinker, as in 4 to 5 drinks a day, I don't think it's worth it for you. Drink packages are usually going to be in the hundreds of dollars. And so if you individually buy a drink every day, if you buy 1 drink a day, it's not going to run you that much. It's not going to run you the cost of a drink package. So I'm not a heavy drinker. If I drank 4 to 5 drinks in a day, I would be hungover for the rest of my life. Like I can't. I used to when I was, in my early 20s. Sure, shots. I'm a mom now. I'm old. I can't keep up. So my 1 or 2 drinks a day, if that, I pay individually, and it is a lot cheaper than purchasing the drink package. Now, for the water package, that's a whole different story. I find the water package to be too expensive. I never buy it. I always bring on my own case of water. A case of water at Walmart, 24 bottles or what have you, is like $10. A case of 24 water bottles on, let's say, the Disney cruise is $60. You're looking at a savings of $50 here, people, okay? Don't do it. No. Do not purchase the water package. Bring it on board with you. And if you stop in any ports, usually they have like pharmacies and things, bring some more water on board. Do not purchase the water package unless you absolutely have to. Or I know for some cruise ships now they're changing it. Before you could just like put it in with your luggage, put like one of your little room tags on it and send it in. Sometimes some cruise ships you'll have to check and see what the requirements are for your specific cruise line. Some of them tell you have to bring it on with you, as in carry it on your person. And that can get kind of heavy as you wait for your room to be ready. So I know for some people that's why they opt for the water package. But for me, I'm not buying that water package. I will put some water bottles in a carry-on and drag it around with me until my room's ready before I purchase another water package. I have done it once before. They threw in a little cooler bag in it with it to make it worthwhile, but no, I'm not gonna do that again. Tip number 5 is to take advantage of any special promotions or retainer packages that are given to you or that they're promoting while you're on board. For some of the cruise ships, I think most of them are doing it now. They offer passengers like, okay, book now and save 25%, or put a deposit down and save 10%. I know Disney does this. They say, pay $250 and you get 10% off your next cruise. Now, I think that these things are worth it and they're going to save you some money in the long run, especially if you know that you want to go on the cruise again sometime. If you plan on sailing with this cruise line again in the future, jump on those promotional deals. Sometimes they offer you onboard credit or a drink package. All these things will save you money. For Disney specifically, that retainer is a big deal because Disney cruises never go on sale, or I hardly ever see a deal. So it happens, but it's very it isn't very frequent, so 10% off is a lot of money, and the $250 that you put down, that retainer, you can add it toward your cruise. So it's not like it's money going up in the air, it is going onto your credit. Now, if you're on board and you haven't heard anything or any promotional deals, I know that's happened to me, go and talk to guest services. I'm sure they will be happy to share with you what they have offering, but it's just something you just don't want to miss out on. Don't leave free money on the table is what they say. I know that on some cruise lines, for certain ports that they're in, the spa services are discounted. On Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, they have done this. So usually if you're at sea, it'll be for full price, but once you're in port, it'll be like 25% off, 30% off a certain spa service. So if you like spas, definitely go and check that out while in port. Now, just as a little bonus, this one is quite popular. A lot of people know about it, but for those who may not, sailing during non-peak season is always going to be a big money saver. Now, I'm specifically talking about hurricane season, which I know everybody's ears perk up and you exit the room when someone says that. But I'll tell you this much, no ship shouldn't anyway sail into a hurricane. You have so much advance notice if a hurricane's coming, and they will always take the ship in a different direction. They will reroute you. You'll be on you'll probably have different itineraries. So for example, if you're sailing out of New York coming to Bermuda, they're not gonna sail you into the hurricane. Usually they'll take you on a route to Canada and like the Northeast area. If you're in Florida, going to either one of the sides of the Caribbean. So if you're doing Western and there's a hurricane coming that way, you'll do Eastern, or maybe you'll get lucky and go somewhere really fabulous. You do have to be flexible because your plans could change during hurricane season. If you don't care about the itinerary, you just want to be on the cruise ship and experience that part of the vacation, I would say book during non-peak season. It is significantly less money. You're talking thousands of dollars of saving to go then, and you'll still go on vacation, you'll still have fun, and no, they're not going to sail you into the eye of the hurricane. But listen, if they're sailing me into a hurricane and I know it's coming, I'm not getting on that cruise ship. I know it's not that easy, but honestly, I will pull out my kayak. Nope. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope that the tips were helpful to you. Comment down below if you found them helpful. Which one do you think you might take up? Or something new that I didn't mention that maybe you want to share with our travel community. All right, guys, I hope all is well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.